All right, question. It's interesting. A guy I know in New York, he didn't really ask me. He said something to someone else, and this guy asked me a question about physical tells in poker, which I remember when we started playing like home games, like that's all we based anything on. Physical tells and nothing else. Physical tells, I guess the question kind of was like, do I look for them? Am I like paying attention to them? Not a ton in general. Also, specifically not in Vegas. There are a lot of things that are different in Vegas than anywhere else. One of them is physical tells. To me, you need so much experience with someone to really have a strong correlation between a physical tell and what it means for that player playing that hand. The thing is, in Vegas, you're playing with people you've never seen before. Like, so often, I'm playing with someone I've never seen before and I'll never see again. And even if they like often come to Vegas, if they regularly come to Vegas, I don't know, it's still not that much. Like there are people I know who like come for every whatever convention, or come for every sporting event, or like every birthday of theirs or something. Still, how many hours lifetime have I played with these people? Like, it's not so much to like care that much, or even like use that mental energy to be like on the lookout for physical tells. Another thing is, it's so transient within one session. Like, the amount of people, like there'll be a table in Council Bluffs, and it's going to be the same, I think they're 8 or 9-handed, the same 8 people for hours. It's like, okay, maybe pay attention there. Here, like, a guy sits down, like the first big hand he wins or loses, he's gone. He's either like upset he lost and he's gone after 20 minutes, or he's racking up a win if he won it all in his first 20 minutes. Like, that happens so often. You don't have like time for it to matter. You also don't have time to really get a handle on what something means. Even if you see something happening, you really need to be seeing showdowns for a physical tell, unlike something that's more math-based. So if you see someone doing something and you never see that person show down and see what cards he or she played and like see what it meant in the hand, it's tough to know like what that meant. You really need a lot. Like, there are people, I remember there was this guy in Milwaukee, like a lot of people, they have an unbeatable hand. They get like nervous. You can just kind of see it on them. Sometimes their hands shake a little. There was a guy, like, second pair got him to that level. Like, he valued second pair so much, he would get that nervous. Now, like, it means the same thing, like psychologically, like an unbeatable hand is what's triggering this physical reaction. But to most people, it's like the absolute nuts. To this guy, it was like second pair or better. So you couldn't really do what you would do against other people if you were in a hand against him. Also, things that are math-based, you don't really need showdown so much. Like, say someone sits and in the first 2 orbits, which now is like 16 hands, the guy raises like 10 of those hands. Now, it's possible he had 10 very strong hands in his first 16, but it's very, very unlikely. So even if you're not seeing any showdowns, if someone raises pre-flop 10 out of 16 hands, that's all the information you need to understand that it's so unlikely he had 10 strong hands. He's just raising way too many hands. And now you can call him later, you can 3-bet him pre-flop later, you can call him down on later streets later, or you could be aware that on later streets, he's gonna have some, like sometimes someone, you know, raises pre-flop, and on like a very low board, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. It's like, oh, well, that guy would never raise with 7s, you know, first to go pre-flop. So you can be confident he like doesn't have better than 1 pair, or on 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, I said. So technically 2 pair, whatever pairs in his hand, and the pair of 5s on board. Like, you could be confident he like never has a straight or a full house. But if someone's raising 10 out of 16 hands, you just know he's raising like way more hands than what is typical, and they don't need to be premium starting hands. So now this guy gets to the river on 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, and yes, it's very, very possible that he could have a 2 in his hand for a straight, or a 7 in his hand for a straight, or a 5 in his hand for trips. So you could make like math-based conclusions without seeing showdowns, and it's real tough to do that with just like some kind of like movement, some kind of like chip movement, arm movement, the direction someone's sitting. Those things feel like are much more difficult to understand what it means when you're not seeing you know, a showdown, and then going back in your head, okay, the guy did this pre-flop, this on the flop, this on the turn, this on the river, and he had these whole cards the whole time, and like now I kind of know what he was thinking. When you don't see showdowns, it's tough to do that. So in Vegas, I don't care so much about physical tells. I'm not really on the lookout for them. People like move so quickly in and out of the table that you're not even like, even if you had it, even if you like had like some kind of like lockdown physical tell on someone, I don't know, like, how often are you going to even be at the same table? The guy's in town for 3 days. What are you going to play with him? Maybe like 2 hours? Is it even going to come up? Is it even going to matter? So, in other games, in like home games, yeah, you're playing with the same people for years. Yeah, you're playing in Council Bluffs, and I've played with the same people there for years. Yeah, you're playing in like Baltimore. And yeah, you see the same people at Baltimore, at the Horseshoe Baltimore, Maryland Live, and like the same people are there all the time. Yeah, in Vegas, for a lot of reasons, it doesn't matter that much to me, and I'm like not even on the lookout for them. And remember, rice is a spoon food.